I remember Christmas. My brother-in-law, we were sitting on the couch, and he asked me, "You think this is it?" And I was like, What are you talking about?" And he's like, "With the music." Because at this point I was already like 8 years in doing music and not getting attention. And well, I'm still like that now. I'm not getting the attention, but it's all right because I like doing it. But he asked me, "You think this is it for you? Like, this is where you stop?" And I looked at him and I laughed and I was like, "No." I said, "I'm just getting started. Like, I got so much more left in me."
You go inside the studio and you're making music. When at what point are you like, oh yeah, this is good? Like this is gonna be a good one. Like how early on in making the music do you know? Because you know how I don't know how, I have no idea when it comes to music. I'm not a music person. I fuck with music, but I'm not like I don't know how it's made. I'm not sure
How it goes
the
and stuff.
formula, and so like how soon into the process are you like, oh, this is gonna be fire right here?
Like, pretty quickly. Um, Basically, because when you play beats, you have to find the right beat for you, because you'll be clicking on beats over and over and over again, and I have to find the right one. And because immediately when I hear a beat, I just start rapping to it, and I know it's gonna be hit as soon as I wait, because I already know around the 40-second to 50-second mark is when the hook comes in. So I just freestyle the first verse in the studio, freestyle the first verse, and then when the hook comes in, I'm hella good at creating melody, like creating melodies. So I know by the hook, if it comes to me like instantly, I feel like I feel like I can ghostwrite hooks for hella people. I got hooks on hooks on hooks. A lot of people are the opposite. They're like, we can write verses, but we can't do hooks. And to me, it's like I can do hooks, but it's harder for me to write the verses. But the hooks just come to me with the sound. I don't know. I don't know how that works. But right with the hook, I know. And then once I got the first verse down, then it's like it's solid. That's how I know.
I know you said you were like there's been times where you got in the studio and like you say it's just like you go in there, you put in like the 6 hours or whatever, and you come out with nothing. When for to continue to go back in there, like do you got to do something to like amp yourself up before you go in there, or like, or you say it's like clock in clock out type shit?
Well, it depends, because now I'm at a different stage now. I know that this is part of the process. But back then, I would beat myself up like over it when I couldn't write a song. If I couldn't write a song, I would go in there and I'd be like, damn, like fuck, maybe this isn't for me. Because I always used to think that everybody can perform at any given moment. Any artist should be able to write a verse at any given moment. But then you realize that that's not true. Like, a lot of artists have writer's block, which means that you can't write a song. It doesn't come to you. So now I've worked myself up to it, like it's just clock in, clock out. You go in there, if you come out with nothing, then you go in the next day, you do the same shit again. Eventually you'll come out with nothing. Cause every time, and I've heard this from other artists as well that say this, every time you make a good song, you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna make another one. You're like, I just don't know how I'm gonna do it. And then it just happens. And then you're like, damn. And then you outdo yourself. It's not like you outdo yourself without even realizing it. Cause you're just in the moment. And especially when you're not so critical and judgmental about yourself. Because sometimes I'll start with a verse and then I'm like, this shit's trash. But then I had to let go of that like when I'm in here, I was like, when I'm in here, when I write something, you just fucking write it. Who cares if it's trash? It's better to go in there and make a song and it be trash than to go in there and make nothing because you're too worried about fucking this is trash. And a good example of that is when I made The Feeling halfway. That song was like one of those songs where I was like, I think this is gonna be trash, but I just let it go. Who gives a fuck? Just let it go. Finished it, and then even when I had it written, I was like, man, this is not as good of a song as I think it's gonna be. But once I recorded it, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this is good. So it's just, I think you have that motherfucker in your head that always tells you you're not good enough, and he's never gonna leave you alone. So you just have to overpower him.
That probably goes with it. That probably goes for all kinds of
Pretty
shit.
much everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of times at work, that I be thinking like, man, I'll get even here too from just doing like side jobs. A lot of times I start thinking like, man, I'm not gonna be able to fix this shit. How I don't feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know, like, how the fuck am I gonna fix it? And then it's not panicking, but I start worrying like, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to fix it, and I'm gonna be stuck with this motherfucking car forever. And then just keep going out there and just trying different shit, trying to looking shit up on SI, looking shit on Google, YouTube, or whatever. Especially because some shit I don't have access to some of the repair instructions because it's like shit that I've never fucked with.
So you just go out there and freestyle it.
Yeah, and and then sometimes I'll figure it out, and then that feeling that you get from fixing it.
Yeah, that's that feeling.
Yeah, where you feel like it feels like is it like fulfillment?
Yeah, it's like it's crazy, and that's like, I don't know. I think you have to, and you know where I think I got that from, and I might be like reaching, I don't know, but I think skateboarding. Because skateboarding, you would try the same shit over and over and over. You would fail 100, 200, 300 times to land a trick until you finally land it. And when you land it, it's like, you feel it. And that's how I feel every time with music. Every time I come out with a song, there's nothing, for some reason, there's nothing that makes me feel that good. There's nothing in this world. It makes me feel accomplished. Like, damn, I did something. When you can come out with a song or anything, even when I used to land tricks, you come out and you're like, damn, like, you feel so good about yourself. You feel accomplished.
Skateboarding was one of those things where it just when I would watch videos, because I remember we'd get together with our cousins and we'd watch people do tricks off of stairs or on what the fuck is those things called?
Those like fuck, I don't know what they're called. The skate park shit, the shit that you dive in.
Yeah,
I don't know what it's called.
It's called
half pipes or something. I don't know. That's crazy. We're out of touch with it now.
It's been so long since.
Well, it's because we never skated in the skate parks. We were always street skaters. You would just skate the streets.
Does Stockton even have a skate park or no?
I think it does. I think every.
Well, it's because when we left California, I was 13 and you were 11. So like we never really got to venture out, drive around, any of that shit.
That's what I'm saying. We only knew the east side of Stockton. We didn't know anywhere. Like if even today, because like we left when I was 11. So if we go back to Stockton and we go to the west side, it's like I don't know what this place is. I don't know where shit's
at. Foreign, huh?
Because as a kid, like you said, we didn't drive or nothing. I rode my skateboard everywhere. So I don't know where everything's at. But if you take me to where we're from, that little spot, I know everything. I still remember everything. When it comes to like my name, I don't think people understand that it's a Mexican name. When it comes to meme, I think like a lot of people, when they see it on paper, it's like meme.
Yeah.
But meme wasn't a thing when I had my name. Like when I originally had my name, meme wasn't a thing. And meme comes from Spanish. And I got that nickname. I don't know where exactly I got the nickname, but from what I've heard, I think my mom said it was my cousin. My cousin gave me that nickname. And I've talked to her about it, and I was like, you gave me that nickname. She don't even remember. But for some reason, it stuck, and that's why everybody calls me Meme. That Meme is not my real name. Yet, it's spoken like it is. My name is Francisco. So, I think I never really told people, like, hey, the way you say my name is Meme. Only if you come encounter with me, then people know. But there's some people who think meme, but nah, it's because they're thinking of the English thing. But I remember when meme started popping, and I was like, oh, fuck, because it made it harder to find me. Not like hundreds of people were trying to find me anyways, but still, they made it harder because every time you typed in OG Meme, it would pop up with all these memes. But I'm like, and I'll explain because the OG Meme came from PlayStation, and then it came from like certain moments in Stockton and in high school where people would be like, "You're a G for that. You an OG for that," and shit like that. But I remember it came from PlayStation because remember your gamer tag used to be OG Jesus or something like that. Remember?
And when we had Call of Duty, you're talking about Call of Duty?
No, it was Halo. It was Halo. And your gamer tag used to be OG Jesus something something something. And then when I made my account, I made OG Meme. I put OG Meme, and then for some reason I just kept it. Like, and I was like, man, I kind of want to just be Meme, but I'm like, nah, I'm too deep. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. OG Meme.
Yeah, I remember when all that shit, because whenever you go to YouTube and you try to find your channel, all the first shit is all meme shit, and I'm like, that's gay. That is gay because it's just I don't know. I guess it's just what it is, But
I think if you look for me now, probably because I have more content out, it's easier to find. And then because my thing is, I have an official artist channel now, so I think it's easier to find. But it's fine. I ain't really worried about it. But I remember, like, I even put I even tried to get verified. I think it was on before in the beginning, I tried to get verified, and they ask you why you want to get verified, and I was like, because it, like, when you type my name in, it takes you to all these meme pages instead of like me. But they don't give a fuck. They're like, nah, you don't have no following, you don't have nothing, so
yeah,
they didn't give it to me.
Remember when we first, because originally when we started playing games online, we didn't have internet, and this was like early on. This was like 2012, 2013, some shit like that. And it was sooner than that. But I remember we went to my sister's house and she had internet, and I would play Xbox 360 on her husband's console. And
you don't remember your gamer tag though? I think it was like SCG Jesus or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that now.
I'm not sure because our brother-in-law is the one who told me, like, you got your name from a gamer tag, something fucking with me or something like that. He's like, and you dropped Jesus because you had that. I don't remember you having
SCG.
that.
I did have SCG, but I don't remember where the hell. Oh, Stockton,
California
Cali.
Goons or something like that.
That's what it was.
That's
what it was. But I remember when we first set up, it's because we're little kids and we're thinking just shit that's tight. So that's what it was. It was Stockton, Cali Goon. That's what we were, because it was because Lil Wayne was big back then, and he would have that "what's a goon to a goblin" type shit.
Yeah,
all that shit. And,
that's funny.
Yeah, so he set up our accounts. Remember, he set up our accounts.
I don't think I had an Xbox account.
Well, when like,
I was just like the guest. You know how they let you hit the guest on the Xbox 360?
Because remember the whole Crazy for Life, our Yahoo account, our email account was Crazy for Life.
Yeah, 209.
Yours was Crazy for Life with a number, and mine.
I was the original Crazy for Life.
Yeah, and then I had FOUR.
And then when you made yours, it was an alternative to mine.
Yeah. And I remember going to Best Buy.
I think I made it though. I don't think
you don't think he made it? Oh, well, somebody made it, but I just remember going to Best Buy. This is the whole reason why I thought about this, is because I went to Best Buy and I bought an Xbox 360 of my own. And the lady or the dude or lady, whoever it was, asked me, "Do you have an email address?" And I'm thinking it was for a warranty. In case something broke, I had a 2-year warranty plan or something. And I got to give them my actual email, which was the only email I had, which was Crazy for Life. And I remember thinking like, oh, like they're gonna
make fun of you or judge you?
Me. Yeah, like they're gonna make fun of me if I tell them. So instead of saying Crazy for Life, I spelled it out, just CRAZY, like that. And then at the very end, the girl's like,
she said,
"Okay, Crazy for Life 209 at Yahoo."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh damn, yeah, that's me." Shit was funny.
Yeah, that's why you had to have a professional email, huh? That's why I made my first and last name email.
Yeah, that's right.
Just that way. That way, when you're in in professional areas where you have to be professional, you have to give them your original email.
Crazy for Life.
That's why I have fucking 5 email accounts. I have hella email accounts because I have my original meme one, and that shit's like flooded with spam a lot now because it's been so old. I've had it forever that it's just filled with spam, and you get a bunch of shit. So, and it's hard to find shit when I'm trying to actually see certain emails. So that's why I'm like, I have to make more, and that's why I have the OG meme one. I have early 16s. I have my first and last name one. I have Sons for Life 209, and then I don't know. I'll probably have an extra one. I don't know. But when you have so many, you can actually categorize. Like I have one strictly for business shit, so that way I see it because you won't see it if you use one email for everything. You won't. And you're waiting for an email. That shit will get flooded.
And it's hard. It's I don't like the fact that you gotta I don't like seeing the big red thing on my emails.
Oh, like the notification number?
Yeah, so I every morning I delete all the emails that are just trash that I don't care about, which is like 99% of them.
Man, my fucking email, my shit be saying like 1,000 something something something.
Yeah,
And it's just out of hand now. It's just,
and it's you can't delete that, and they don't have a delete all, do they?
I think like it's depending on what type of email service you use. I think like Yahoo lets you delete like 50 at a time or something like that. I don't know if you can just wipe everything, but sometimes you like don't you think emails is weird? Like it seems like an old way of speaking to each other, and yet it's still used. So it's commonly used like by everybody.
I think just because of convenience, you can mass.
It's like the text message for everyone. Huh?
Yeah, because they can mass send it to thousands of people, and it's like with a button, and it's good to go. So I think it's just for convenience. But the only reason I ever use email is if I'm waiting for a code or some shit, where they send a code to your email or to change your password type shit. Everything else, I don't really care for.
Yeah, I use it because when I buy beats, sometimes I go back and forth with producers and stuff, and I want to see their email. So that's why I had to have. That's why I was like, I have to have a separate one. I can't be having the same one. I need a separate one. I was watching a video today. I was watching a video about Elon because I was like, what the fuck is Elon up to, right? Because I've always liked him because I'm like, this fool's so smart. I've always liked him, and I seen a video today of him. He was talking to somebody about Twitter, and the guy was telling him that he has seen a rise in hate of hateful content on Twitter. He was telling him, and he was like, "Oh, really?" He's like, in general, or like, what do you mean? And he's like, me personally. He's like, me personally on my For You page, I've been seeing a lot of hateful stuff, and he's like, oh, he's like, really? He's like, can you provide me an example? He was telling him like, well, what do you consider hate? And he's like, can you provide me an example of it? And he's like, well, it's because I haven't been on my For You page in a while. And he's like, but you just said that you've been seeing more hateful more hateful content on Twitter. And now you're saying that you don't use your For You page. And he's like, you can't give me one example? And he's like, it's because I haven't used it in 3 or 4 weeks. And he's like, but you just told me right now that you have seen a rise in hateful content. And you can't give me one piece of content. You can't give me one example. He's like, you just lied. He said, you just lied. He's like,
Yeah, straight up like that.
He's like, yeah, he just told him, you just lied just now. He told him. And I'm like, yeah, like that's fucked up because I think Elon's a good person. I think Elon's a good person, and I have a lot of faith in Elon. And I think he's he's capable of doing great things for humanity, especially like the fucking and the amount of shit that he does, like building fucking tunnels in California, going to Mars, and more importantly to me is the fucking Neuralink. That shit is crazy. And I was reading up on it a little bit, and it said that he's been wanting to try it on humans, but he's been trying to work with the FDA because it needs to get approved. And he's like, he believes that in 6 months is human time. And I'm like, okay, shit.
He just announced that recently.
Yeah, like I think it was a recent interview. He said that he wanted to do it last year, but I think there's he's like, we have to make sure 100% it's safe for humans. We can't just put it in a human. He's like, but we've been doing a lot of testing on animals. But he's like, in 6 months, he's like, I believe we will be able to start using it on humans. And he's like, I plan to get one myself. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, what better sales pitch, huh? Because if you're trying to push the Neuralink and you don't have one as the creator, people are gonna be like, what?
Yeah, they're not gonna want to fuck with it because they're like, what do you like? It's just like if all these pharmaceutical companies that are selling a bunch of drugs that say that they're specifically made to combat this or the other, and they really are not. They're just Joe Rogan said something about freaking. There's a specific drug company that made a specific medicine to combat. I think it was Alzheimer's, and it didn't do shit to help, and it just hurt them. It provided all these, or it had a bunch of negatives, like drawbacks, and nothing positive, and it killed people, and they made so many $billions, so many billions and billions of dollars, and after they had to pay everybody out, they still made like, I don't know, like 7 billion. And it's like, okay, so he's like, you can kill people and still make money.
It's just crazy because it's like at this point you can't really trust anybody. You can't really trust anybody. Like I was reading up a little bit on Bill Gates, how he was pushing the vaccine hella hard, and he put up hella money, right, for the vaccine. He's pushing it hella hard, and then afterwards, now he's saying like, "Oh yeah, it doesn't protect against all strains." This. He's like backtracking, and it just doesn't. Like I don't know shit. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I don't know shit, but it seems sketchy to me, and I'm like, I don't, because he made a fuck ton of money off of it.
Bill Gates, that's what Bill Gates.
I think Joe Rogan was saying, "Fucking, he's not a doctor. He didn't go to school for that shit." And he's the one that's on the news telling people that, yeah, I get it.
It's just because it's a big name. Bill Gates is the name is from when we were kids. People talk about Bill Gates, and I think it's just the name. But I think we're in a different time now. It doesn't matter how much weight your name carries. You got to look into shit because you can't trust nothing on TV. You can't trust the news. You can't trust anyone giving you any type of content. You can't trust it. You got to look into it yourself, and you got to go to like 3-4 different people that are pretty credible to make a really educated decision. But Bill Gates it seems like a shady motherfucker, because when they were asking him about the whole, because he was on what's that the pedophile dude with the plane at the island,
Epstein, yeah.
He was on that list of motherfuckers that would go over there. Bill Gates.
Proven?
Yeah. And they asked him about it.
That he would
TV.
go to the island?
And they asked him like, hey, how you used to hang out with Epstein and all these planes or whatever, and he'd be like, oh, but there's a clip of it. He's like, oh, well, he's dead now. So it's like, that stuff doesn't matter. And I'm like, what the hell? That's when I'm like, oh, this dude's a shady dude. And I remember he was talking shit about Elon, and then Elon sent a pregnant, you seen that?
No, I didn't see it.
He sent a pregnant dude emoji, and he said that like he looks like Bill Gates.
No, I didn't see it.
It was funny. It was funny. And I think, I don't know if there's a beef there or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems like Elon's always been like a solid dude. And I think that he's genuine. And I've heard people say like, oh, we got to protect him.
I remember like early on, everybody was for Elon. At least from what I've seen, like online and everything. It seems like everybody was for Elon. Like, go Elon, shit like that. And now it just seems like there's hate towards him now.
I think because of Twitter, huh?
I feel like, yeah, but he's like, I don't know. I think his intentions are good, and I think he's a good person. And I've seen like interviews about him, and obviously we don't really know because we don't know him. But just from what I've seen, it seems like he's a good person, and I have somewhat. I guess he's reputable, if that's the word. Like he seems trustworthy. And especially when it comes to the Neuralink. And I'm so interested in the Neuralink because of our little brother. Our little brother has cerebral palsy, or that's how you pronounce it. And he can't walk and he can't talk. And Elon claims that the Neuralink will be able to fix any problem with the brain. People who are paralyzed will be able to walk, and people who've been blind their whole life will be able to see. That's such a crazy statement. but I believe it coming from him because he explains it and he explains it so well. And I just like, damn, like I think like, what if in 20 years I can finally have a conversation with my brother? And I'm like, that shit's crazy to imagine that my brother can talk back to me. And if his brain is fixed, I feel like his what he can do is endless now. Because once he could understand, he can listen to us and stuff like that. We can go back and forth. I feel like he would be a whole different person.
It'd be almost like he's born that day.
Yeah.
Type.
And the only thing is though, it's like I don't trust it though. Because it's so early in the stages. It's not that I don't trust the damn thing, but it's like it's just so early on.
It's like,
but I almost feel like it would be fucking wrong to not put one on him if it's proven that. Yeah. And it's such a big ass decision. It's so hard for me because it's like we care about him so much, and it's so sometimes we're so used to my mom having to make tough decisions. But if my mom's no longer around when that pops off, well, the people who are going to make that decision is me and you. But it just seems like if it's proven and if it helps a bunch of people, I just feel like we're gonna have to do it because it's like I always treat my little brother, like if he's me. So I treat him the same way. I don't give him no special treatment, because he has a condition. I treat him like he's my brother. I mess with him, stuff like that. And he messes with me too and shit like that. And that's normal. But I think so when I think of something this big of where you put a chip in his brain to fix his brain, well, I think of myself, right? Like if would I want them to do that to me? And I think the answer would be yes, because like I just feel like it sucks. It sucks hella bad that it feels to me like that shit the saddest shit ever to me when it comes to our brother. That's just the saddest shit ever. There's nothing that hurts me more than that. Well, especially if I just sit here and dwell on this shit, it puts me in a bad state of mind because it's almost like he got robbed of life. He got robbed of life, and I'm like, and I didn't. And I always think like, I'm not. Why the fuck did I get so lucky? And then especially because even though my brother has the kid's condition, I still say we're lucky because I've seen people who are even less fortunate with having their kids, and their condition is a lot worse. They can't even move. And when I go to pick them up at a school or when I see other kids with conditions, I'm like, damn, like this, it's the most heartfelt shit. Like that feeling I can't explain. When I see those kids, I'm like, fuck, like, and then especially because if you don't know, like a lot of people tend to make fun of these kids because it's funny, whatever they call them, retarded or whatever. But like people who speak like that is because they don't know what it's like to take care of a kid like that. They have no idea. And I remember, like, and to me, it's always been a touchy subject because it's like, I've always defended kids like that at school. When people fuck with them, I'd always be like, you can't fuck with them. Like, and I would step up for them because I have a brother like that. And I do the same for my brother because my brother can't defend himself. So I have to be his fucking, whatever you call it. I have to defend him whenever I can. But I just think like, damn, like if that's like, to me, that's like God shit though.
To be able to fix that.
Yeah, to be able to bring him, like,
it seems like magic.
It would be crazy. It'd be something hella crazy.
But I think we would need to let it, like, we would need a trial period. I would need to see, because it seems fucked up, but I want, because this is our brother. I don't want him to go through any negative setbacks or negative, anything negative that could come from this Neuralink shit. I want it to be tested on millions of other people beforehand, before I put my brother in the firing line. So, but it's like, I know he would want it too, because
who wouldn't?
Who wouldn't? And his quality of life would improve
like a motherfucker.
And it's like, it's wrong to not. If there's a percentage for him to live a better quality life, due to the Neuralink, it's like it's a must. We have to at least attempt it because I know he would want to do it. I know he would want to do it. And as he gets older, shit's gonna become harder. As we get older, shit's gonna become harder. So if he was able to understand, because a lot of times when we're doing stuff for his benefit, we're trying to help him out. He doesn't understand. He just thinks we're fucking with him, and because he doesn't want to do it. When we put him on a standard, he doesn't want to do it. He looks at it as like, you're making me work, and I don't want to work. I was just chilling, and you're making me work. But it's for his benefit. But he doesn't understand that, and because he doesn't understand it, he fights us. And he's like, Alex is. He's a good sized kid. Like, 20 years old.
Oh, he's an adult.
He's like 150 pounds, 20 year old.
Yeah,
he's roughly like,
he's probably like 145.
Well, and then when he fights you, and he doesn't.
But you could tell it's not like he's fighting me. Like, you could tell. I know he loves me. I can tell. You can just tell it. Because he's always like, you could just, I don't know how to explain it, but I just know. So when he's fighting me, he's just fighting me because he's exactly how you said. He thinks you're just messing with him. Like, if he likes to play the game, or he likes to like mess with the TV. And if he's messing with the TV and it's time to take him to the shower, or it's time to, I don't know, go eat or something, and I'll tell him it's time to go eat, sometimes he'll come automatically. So he has some sense of like understanding. So I'll tell him, let's go eat. And then I'll wait for him at the table, and then he'll come to us. But sometimes he won't. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to go over there and take the remote away, because that's the only way he'll come eat. So I'll take the remote away, and then I'll tell him, come on. And normally, sometimes he doesn't, he's cool, but sometimes he's into it. And then you take the remote, the PlayStation away or whatever, and he gets mad and he wants to hit you. He wants to hit you and stuff like that. But that's why, if he could understand, though, it's almost like, I don't even know. Like, it would be like a whole different life for all of us.
But even like when the Neuralink shit, though, like if he'd be able to understand, you know how his legs don't fully extend. They stop at a certain length, and then the tissue, I think, behind his kneecap is like locked in place where it doesn't want to fully stretch. So how would that work? And then his ankle
would still be able to walk. There's once he's fully aware like that and he can understand, there's actually I have videos of it, of other people who can't walk and their legs can't extend like that, but there's a machine that moves their legs for them. So, but they understand that they have to hold on to this. And as long as you can do that, you can walk. So him understanding is enough. Just him understanding and being able to communicate with us, or it's like a whole different thing, because we don't know. With him, we don't know anything. We have to assume. We have to be fucking. We have to look at him and, is he sick? Does he feel bad? Was he mad today? How does he feel? Like that. Is he hungry? Sometimes you don't even know if he's hungry. And that's why I remember I told you, like, it sucks because my brother can't say, like, man, hey, I want a burger today. I want a burger with bacon and fucking avocado or whatever the fuck he is. He just eats whatever we end up eating that day. And I'm like, that sucks, because he can't say, I'm craving this, or I want this. And it just seems like, that's why I'm saying, like, my brother, I feel like he's been robbed of life to an extent. But I always feel like I still feel blessed. And to me, like, I'm not angry at God. I'm not angry at nobody. It just is what it is. It is what it is. I've accepted it. And like, nothing gonna change. I love him the same. If anything, I love him more, right? Because it's like, me and you, we don't express like certain emotions, right? We don't hug. We don't do shit like that. And it's just because of how we were raised. But him, he's the only one we hug and shit. He's the only one we hug. He's the only one we and we talk to him in Spanish too.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's just because our parents are like full Mexican, and they speak only Spanish, mainly only Spanish, and to him and to us. So growing up is just the thing. You speak Spanish at home, you speak English everywhere else in school. So when it came to him, it seemed like I think he understands better when you talk to him in Spanish, because English, I think he understands a little bit, but especially because in school, some when he talked to him, I was super surprised when they when they would tell him like he would roll his wheelchair down the hallway and he would cut into a door, like do the
like
cut.
do the turn.
Yeah, do the turn. I'd never seen him do that, and he did that, and they would tell him in English, and he would do it, which room he wanted to go to. And so I know he understands. Sometimes I think he understands more than we give him credit.
I think because like you said, I seen him do stuff at school that he doesn't do at home. And we've talked to his therapist and stuff like that, and they told us that it's just because he's comfortable with you guys, so he feels like he can slack off more. But when he's in front of his teacher or something like that, it's almost because they're kind of like, I don't know what you call it, but they're not his family. He's not as comfortable. So when they tell him to do something, he's more likely to do it.
Mm.
I don't know why, but for some reason like that. So that's why when he would do his therapy, they would tell us like, can you guys like step away? Like we can still see him, but just like give him his own thing, because when we're there, he's just distracted and he's just looking at us, or he's just laughing and stuff like that. So once we get away, that allows him to focus on what they're doing, and we have seen results by staying away from. So I think, but I think the Neuralink is probably gonna have to happen if it works out and plans out the way Elon says it is. I feel like that's like I don't know, that fool deserves an award if he does that. He deserves something, because that will change millions of people's lives. There's so many people who are unfortunately born with disabilities or with certain conditions and stuff like that, that having that automatically fixes it. And especially because he says it's not a real big surgery, right? Because when you think of your head and somebody putting a chip on your head, you think of like some massive surgery. And he's like, no, it's a 20-minute process. And I'm like,
that's
what?
Crazy, huh?
He's like, you literally will sit on a. I think he believe, if I'm saying it correctly from what I remember, I think it was like you get on a chair, and then I think you're asleep, and I think you're positioned in a certain way. I don't know. And then it's all automated, so it would just cut a hole in your skull, and then it has like these very small. I don't know what the fuck it is that attaches these wires to your brain that will send electric waves, some I don't know the term for it, but it connects to your brain, and then it just puts the cap on, and boom, you're good to go. He said you would literally get it and walk out the same day. I'm like, what the hell?
It just seems too big.
It just seems too good. Yeah. And in life, every time something is too good, it unfortunately is not what it is. But I mean, I guess there's nothing wrong with having faith, because I'd be like, once technology comes about, like who knows what's possible. But even the article I read, it said that it would even lead to eventually us becoming cyborgs. Would you do that shit?
Well, look,
cyberpunk style.
Let's. Does the Neuralink, like, let's say you watch a movie, like, right now that movie's in your head. Can I download that movie from your head to my head? Because you know how they said that you're gonna be able to bring back memories that you long forgotten.
Yeah.
So
he said the phone, your phone will basically be in your head. So he said the problem is when you have your phone, it's slow. And I'm like, slow? It's pretty fast. But then when he explains it, he's like, you're limited by the speed of your fingers. So if you want to look up when's the next whatever festival or some shit, you're limited by the speed, instead of just saying when's the next festival or some shit like that.
Instead of just thinking it,
and then the shit just happened. And I'm like, oh shit, he does have a point. And his argument with people saying they don't like the idea of forming with technology, he's like, we already have. He's like, you carry your phone everywhere. And it's so true. You don't leave the house without your phone.
But can you get hacked?
Probably. Cyberpunk status.
Because like if you get hacked and then somebody forces you to kill someone.
But I don't think that has control over you. It just has it's just like an information thing. Like it just allows you to do certain things. So if you get hacked, I don't think it control your body.
So can I? Okay, so
but
if
maybe it can, because if they say that if it controls if you're paralyzed and you have a Neuralink, he said it would be 2, right? If you're paralyzed from like the waist down, they can put one on your lower spine and then one on your upper spine, and it will work like fucking Bluetooth, and it will send signals from the top one to the bottom one, and that's how you would get this.
That's if your legs are still functional.
So
right?
if it can do that, it technically does have some power over your shit.
Because it's sending a signal, yeah. But what I'm thinking is like if you allow me, like if I have a Neuralink and you have a Neuralink, and somehow you have me on your top 5 people who have access, and I can ask you for permission to see
my memories,
your eyes.
So that way you can.
So my eyes link with your eyes, so now I can watch the if
what
you're
I'm
in
watching?
Paris, and you're in Paris, or if you're in the movie theaters.
Yeah.
Right, and you're watching a movie and you pay for it, whatever, you're sitting there, and then you can Neuralink 5 people, and we can all sit there and watch the movie through our ears and everything. Same as you there, but at home.
I don't know. That's crazy shit. I don't know. I don't even think about that. But I think, well, I got a couple questions for you. One is, would you get it?
If there's a good amount, if
because I think I would.
It depends on how safe it was.
I think especially if my brother gets it, I'm getting it too. Fuck it, we die together. If it comes to something like that.
If it went like that, like we gotta. Because remember,
because what if he's like, okay, he won't learn how to communicate immediately, but if you have a Neuralink, it would be able to communicate to each other. I'm like, we're doing it then.
Oh yeah, then
we have to do it.
If it benefits him, then yeah, then it's no question.
Because it don't matter. I'll give him my arm. It don't matter. But once okay, that was question number 1. Question number 2 is, you didn't answer. I already asked you. Would you actually get what I say? You like, would you form with technology? Like, would you get an arm, a robot leg, a robot duh?
A robot duh?
Yeah. Would you do anything? Would you merge with technology?
I think I don't think. See, because it's like, I don't think I would. I don't think I would, because my arm works fine. I think the only way I would is if my arm is effed, and it's like, now it's a problem. It's like fucking me up, as far as like, it's become enough of an issue on my day-to-day life where I'm like, yeah, oh, fuck this arm. It's done its time type shit. Then probably.
Yeah, but the problem is that so many people would, and that will put you at a disadvantage when it comes to physical combat. When we have to fight,
then you pull
now
out.
Motherfucker got a robot arm, a robot chest.
Yeah, but by then you have a freaking EMP pistol and shut those niggas down. Bam, bam. That's what we have then. Or there's always gonna be a gun. Somebody will always make a gun to combat whatever. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's like one of those nuke. Everybody dies.
It's like fucking Cyberpunk Edge Runners. David was forming. That's just one of the best animes for me. But how he was forming and shit, his fool was a beast. And I'm like, that fool's a gangster. But I think I would, because I've always liked technology. I always thought it was tight. There's always, of course, there's an evil side of this shit, right? But it's just how it is. But I think maybe right now you say that because nobody does that and it's new and we're not at that time. But it's like self-driving cars. I think now people are really starting to trust in fuckers. When before, even me, I'm like it's kind of like, I think I trust it, because my sister's car, she has a Kia. And she's like, yeah, this motherfucker drives by itself. And I was like, no, it doesn't. I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, it does. I was like, oh, I thought only like certain cars do that. She's like, no, it stays in between the lanes. So I'm like, when I was on the freeway, I was like, let me try this fucker out. And I turned it on, and it was handling pretty well. And I'm like, I don't know.
So it's not fully autonomous. What she's got is some other shit. I forgot what the specific word is for it, but it would just keep you between the lines. But and like it's not bad. Like I was testing it,
but it's not that good either.
It's not I didn't try a Kia, but I tried it on like a Cadillac one time. I think it was a Cadillac, but it was not bad. And the turns, when you hit a turn, it almost did the whole turn, and it was a pretty good turn.
Yeah, but it seems like it sticks too much to the line though. And then there's been times where it was turning off. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, nah, this is not good.
Yeah, because I think it's meant mainly for like straight roads.
Yeah, but I want to try out a Tesla. and see how good that shit is, because it has to be good.
Yeah, some of the I think what's really common right now is where the ones where they fully drive by themselves, but you got to keep your hands on the wheels, and because it monitors your heart rate. You hold just like you're on the treadmill type shit when you're holding the
Teslas do
steering
that?
wheel. No, I'm not sure if it's Teslas, but it's some cars that fully drive themselves. You hold the steering wheel and it monitors your heart rate. There's like cameras for your face and shit. So they want you to be looking forward and holding, because if you let go of the steering wheel, this shit will give you warnings and then it'll shut off.
Yeah, the
And
Tesla will park on the side of the road.
Yeah,
and it will turn the blinkers on. It'll turn the emergency lights on.
But I am a fan for that though. I think eventually shit will get good enough where it wouldn't.
Everybody's gonna be using that.
It'd be normal. It'd be like Bluetooth, normal shit.
But the only thing is because I don't trust technology like that, because like I'm always like it can be used against you. Like, what if they just shut that motherfucker off for whatever reason, and then like something happens in the city and you're trying to leave the city and they're like, no, you can't leave, and they just shut off all the cars. Like, what the fuck?
There's certain cars, like I didn't know this, but a kid told me the other day that you got to pay a subscription if you want heated seats. Like you have the car that you buy, it has heated seats,
but to use them,
in order to have access to be able to use them, there's a subscription.
What the fuck? Who's buying that shit though?
I'm like, what the hell? That's where shit's gonna start moving into. People always want to make money. Subscription, like what? I would never buy shit like that. And then also, whenever car companies want to do this like mandatory, you got to do this, then I don't fuck with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I don't like. That they have a certain level of control, and they can just, who knows, right? If you have cameras looking at your face, like I don't know.
I think they say it's meant for safety. That's what
I know that's what they say, but it can be intended for good, and then eventually be used for bad. Everything can be used for bad. So it just seems like if you're like, I don't fucking know. Like I guess, right? Because if you're a criminal and you're wanted, they can just shut your car off. Imagine like cop chases. If you have a Tesla and they just shut that fucker off, pew, and it just shits off.
Done. Like Too Fast, Too Furious shit. When they shot the dude in the helicopter, shot that Brian O'Connor. He shot his car with that electricity thing.
Oh yeah, what the fuck was that?
I don't know what the heck.
I don't know. Why was it so believable though?
And they were like, and his car was like,
he shot it by the gas tank, huh?
He shot the door, like the rear door or something.
What? There's nothing in the door, huh?
No, I don't know how the hell that would control anything, because I'm guessing they were trying to say it was creating some type of EMP pulse, because it was fucking up his computers or whatever. Which I guess is because an EMP in like modern cars, you won't be able to start them no more.
If it would shut them off,
like if a solar flare happened, if we got hit by a solar flare, all the modern cars wouldn't start. It would fry all the computers. It'd fry all the computers and you wouldn't even start.
So you think, yeah, but a car like his was fucking the car he had.
I know, but
there's no way it's shutting that motherfucker.
I don't think so, but I just remember the laptop. He had a laptop on the thing
because he turned his head backwards, huh? He turned it. So it seemed like it was the passenger door or it was the near the. Oh, but he can't get near the gas tank. It must have been.
It was the driver's side because he's like, hold the wheel, remember? And he's holding the other guy was holding the wheel. But that's why I like old school cars.
Yeah, that's why I like the old school cars too. But because I don't trust it for some reason. Maybe as time goes on, we will lean to be more comfortable with type of shit like that. But I just don't trust a lot of shit like that. Because the car I want is a 1945 Chevy, I believe. Like I used to know this shit by heart, what car I wanted and everything. Let me see. Let me look it up.
1955.
It's because I forgot. Yep, it's like this shit right here, and I have a picture on my wall in my room of the car, the exact car, because there's different types.
I go up, like that one right there to down.
It's a 4-door. The one I want is a 4-door.
What's that right there? Up one.
This one
to the left.
This one.
That one. No, that's not it.
No, I think this is just a 2-door. It's not like a Bel Air. It's kind of like this one. It's kind of like this one, a 4-door. I don't know. I'm not recording, but I'll just put a picture up of the one that I do want. But for some reason, cars like that is just super tight to
They
me.
look pimp, huh? And it reminds me of Mafia 2.
Let me yeah, Mafia 2.
Mafia 2.
I'm gonna put the thing on so they can see it. But yeah, because that's like gangster cars, huh?
Yeah, with Mafia. Well, in the game, what they would cruise around in, the Mafia bosses. That's what it looked like. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah,
it just looks like you don't ever see these cars. You don't ever see them.
And then when you do see them, it's always an older person driving it. Yeah. It's never a young kid. I feel like if a young kid nowadays, if he has money, he's not gonna buy a car like this. Nah. I almost don't want to say it because I want to be the only one. I want to be like
one of the first one.
Yeah, one of the only people to have this type of car. I don't think a lot of people like these cars though.
They look pimp though.
Like this shit looks tight.
That shit look pimp.
I think it's this one.
1950 Chevy. What was that? I think
it's this one.
Fleetline.
Fleetline, yeah. I don't know. I don't know shit about cars, so I just know I like this shit. I like the whole chrome shit. Like, and
the white around the tires looks tight too.
It just looks good. This just looks good.
I think
but I'm pretty sure there's somebody who looks at this and be like, that shit is ugly.
Yeah.
So
I know, but I think it's just people have different tastes. But I think in my opinion, I think old school cars, old 50, 70 years ago,
it just seems like they made shit back in better quality, huh? Back
and
then,
more pimp.
Like I remember I seen a fucking a refrigerator from the fucking old days, and somebody had it on like TikTok, and it was showing, and it was so much better. The quality, he says, shit's hella durable. Because back then they would use. Now I feel like when they make shit in mass, they're always trying to find cheap shit.
Yeah,
to make it.
I think they do it intentionally because they want shit to break down.
They want to make, but I think they want to make money.
Yeah, because if you're any company, if you make a product that lasts 100 years, people are only going to buy it once, and that's not a good company move. You need to make shit that lasts, like that's durable for a good amount of time, and then people are going to say, yeah, it was good enough, and then they'd buy it again. That's what they want.
I think back then they would make shit with quality, with whatever they needed, and now they're just lowering everything to maximize profits. I don't know if I could find the actual one, but
like Fallout fridges.
I don't know what it was, but it was tight, and he was explaining why it's so much better. I think some shit like this or something. I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, I just feel like certain shit back then was made more better. Now it's just to maximize profits. Yeah, well, we'll probably I'll ask you one more question, and then that'd be it. So, you're a mechanic, right? So I got a question for you. Is it true what everybody says about mechanics? That when you go there and you go for an oil change, that they hit you with 10 different type of shit? Is that a true thing or is that a myth? And coming from you, who you've been doing this shit for I don't know how long now. Is that shit true?
People are gonna be mad.
Your mechanic friends?
Well, it is true, but it's like I can't. It's true, but there's a reason behind it. Like, and I can't justify it for everyone, but I can just justify it for I'm not gonna sell people shit that they don't need. That's like against code. If you're
for you though,
for any like I hold that standard for any tech.
But that's just you. You're just speaking on yourself.
Yeah, I'm speaking on me. Yeah, okay. And everyone who I work with, I've never met someone who works on cars that like, and I've seen it. Like I've heard it, but I haven't seen it. Like the people that I've worked with, they're not gonna sell you something that you don't need. As far as like when they say, "Oh, your tires, you need tires," right? And they'll show you proof. If they say you need it's recommended at this mileage to replace your plugs or to do oil to flush your coolant or brake fluid or whatever. If they're telling you a flush, it's usually recommended by miles. So but it's the reason why they do that is because we make money on it. Like everyone's paid per job. The majority of people who work on cars is paid per job. And if you don't have no jobs, you ain't getting no money. So you're incentivized to sell shit, to make a living. And they're gonna sell you shit that you need the majority of the time. Sometimes they'll sell you stuff like certain flushes that are products that the company has to help clean your motor or clean. There's just different shit that might not be like critical. It's just like preventative shit, which is not necessary, but it's just preventative. And I have no idea how that's translated to the customer. That depends on how the advisor handles the customer, because if the information is not related to the customer in a manner where they can understand it, it just looks like we're just trying to sell you a bunch of shit that you don't even need. So
to an extent it's true.
To an extent it's true, but the majority of the time they're gonna sell you only shit that you need. And it's not gonna be like, they're not, at least
they're not out to fuck you.
Yeah, basically. Like,
but can you speak for that? But you're speaking for people that work with you. But I would say
80%. 80%. I would say 80%.
You that sure?
Yeah, I think.
Or are you just writing for the mechanics?
Because this.
Are you just team mechanic now?
I've worked at three dealers, 4 dealers, but only 3 mechanically. I worked at 3 dealers, and all these dealers, the people who I've worked under, I've never had one where he sold something that it wasn't, like where he's like let me pop this dude's tire real quick and sell him a tire type shit like that. Like where it's shady shit. I've never seen it.
But okay.
Firsthand.
Okay. So let me give you an example. So say I don't know, because I don't know shit about cars. Say a certain fucking belt is worn, but it's still good. It still lasts you, I don't know, because I don't know shit. It can last you another, I don't know, 6 months. Will they say, change it now? It's worn? And say you need to change it now as a way to make you get a new belt quicker? Or will they just say, like, you got 5 months?
It's because it's hard to really give an estimated time when shit's gonna go. When you see something worn, the like me, right? I'll walk you through how it should go. I'm not sure if every dealer does it like this, but from my experience, I'll tell you how shit goes. So the car comes into me for an oil change. That's it. Nothing else. The customer says, I don't give a fuck, right? I do the oil change. And I notice, and doing the oil change, because sometimes when it comes in, you're supposed to inspect the car to make sure, because you don't want to send a customer out and the shit break down, right? Like 20 minutes after you did oil change. Because then all eyes point to you. You're the last one to touch it. And that's how customers are. So the car comes in, I do the oil change, and then I inspect it. I see the belt, right? Let's say the serpentine belt I seen is worn. Or usually that's an indication that you want to replace it, but you will need to figure out why it's worn first. If it's like natural wear, or if it's worn because something's loose. Something being loose, if it ate away at the belt, that means
just fucks up the durability,
right? You let's just say you just replace the belt. You tell the customer, "Oh, your belt, it's like $20. Let's say it's $30 for the belt, right?" And let's say it pays half hour. The shop labor rate is like $160, so half hour is $80. You're in it for $150, right? To put the new belt in. The customer's like, "What? $150 for a belt? Is it critical?" And they're like, "Well, it's worn, but." Because if that belt takes shit, right, like if it rips, now none of your pulleys that are run from that belt are working now. They're not spinning. Your alternator is not running, not charging your battery. So now the car is running just solely on battery, which is not, since it's not getting charged, you're not going to get, who knows how far you get depending on how the quality of the battery you have, how old it is or whatever. So the battery's not getting charged now for $150 that you could have saved when somebody told you to. Now you can risk it if you want, but that's $150 for the belt, and to put it on, right, or whatever. But your alternator's not running, right? If the water pump's not running, if it's belt driven, depending on what car you have or whatever. So now your car can overheat, and overheating your car.
That's a lot of shit. It seems like that's a lot of shit.
But it's just because
I think for the average person, because you say all that shit to me, I'm like, I get kind of lost because it's so much. It's just like, and it's so that's why they'd be like, people would be like, nah, this motherfucker
trying to fuck me.
Yeah, they're gonna say you've been trained. This motherfucker been trained this talk. He been riding for the mechanic boys. They're gonna say,
and it's hard. It's that's why I feel like everyone needs to find someone that they trust, because if you don't trust who's working on your car, you shouldn't take it to them. You need to trust them because
that's your life, huh?
Yeah, and I've there's been times where I like people brought me their cars, like the first motor I ever did here at home. I undercharged like a motherfucker. I did it for like $300, $400, and there's hella not worth it, right? But because I'm a man of my word, I'm like, I already said it, and so now it's got to happen. I should have charged way more for that, but it is what it is. And then I did it, and it's because I'm always like, that's why when people bring me shit and it's something simple, I'll just tell them, and I don't charge them for the diagnosis. Where a lot of people were like, okay, you bring me your car automatically, so give them charge you as $100. And I don't do that, especially when it's something easy and it takes me much time to figure it out, because it just seems unfair. But it's like people tell me all the time, like you gotta make money on the shit that took you so long for you to achieve. So
yeah, because it's only simple for you because of the knowledge you acquired through all your years.
Yeah, and all
through
the
going
work
to school, through going through all these dealerships. So a lot of people when somebody comes and fix something in 10 minutes and charges you $100, you'd be like, what the fuck? You charging me $100 for $10? But in reality, they're charging you for their knowledge.
Yeah.
Because they know so much shit. And they're just saving you the time because they're doing that shit so quickly.
Yeah.
So that's really what you're paying for, is the knowledge and the trust that this person knows what he's doing and he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if the job pays an hour and you do it in 10 minutes because you're so experienced, then you've earned that $100. But people don't see it that way. So, but I don't know. I don't like giving mechanics a bad rep, and I like helping people out as much as I can. But I'll do it at my expense sometimes, but there's only so much I can do before it's not fair for me, and then I got to bring it back to being fair. I always got to be fair. So as long as I'm fair,
and then some people are trying to take advantage of that too, because some people come to you for an estimate, and then they'll be like, no, and they'll go into a mechanic, and then they get hit with a big number, and they come back to you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's what I thought. Huh?
And it's like,
but I mean, that's fine though. I guess you should always get a second opinion.
I always tell them, I always tell everybody, do whatever you think is best for you. I don't give a fuck. Because at the end of the day, I don't need the work. Sometimes I don't even want to work. But it's like, I don't like turning down money. So I had to do it. But yeah, at most places, I'd say 85% of technicians are good. They're going to sell you only what's required if you really need it. So if you have questions about, if you say, I don't think I need this, you can tell them, show me proof, and they have to provide proof. As far as the old part, and a good person, like if you talk to them, someone who knows their shit can break it down to you so that you understand. And if you don't understand, that means that the dude doesn't understand it himself. Because if you go to somebody and they can explain it to you, so like dumb it down enough for a normal person to understand it, then they know what the fuck they're doing.
So then, so it's a myth.
Yeah, I feel like it's amplified. It's like one of those.
So it's just over exaggerated.
Yeah, but I say about 85% or so.
It's either that or they're gonna say you're writing for the mechanic boys. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.